What's up, YouTube? So today we're doing something different. Today we're going to be doing review slash first impressions of the new fighting game that just came out, Melty Blood Type Lumina. If you don't know what this is a base on a visual novel called Tsugehime, which is made by the same person that made Fate Stay Night and Fate Grand Order. And it's an earlier version. I personally am not that big a fan of the source material, but some people are. So it really comes down to your preference. Today, I'm basically going to be talking about what are my experiences so far. I played the game maybe 20 hours, talked to some people, and we're going to go through what the price is it worth playing, how's the netcode, all that stuff. First off, I'm going to go ahead and say that this game is $50. It has DLC, but it does not have character DLC. It has a round start announcement, so like instead of like some random dude saying round one fight, it's like, oh, it's your favorite waifu saying round one fight. It's $3 a waifu, so you can spend $30 on just round start announcements, which is very expensive. I would not recommend that. Then there's a deluxe edition on PC, which is $20 extra, putting the game at 80 or no 70, sorry. I think it's either 70 or 80. And it's like called Melty Blood Archives, and it's just like a download separately for artwork and music, which I guess if you want to just support them, you can do that, but otherwise you can find that shit on YouTube for free. It's not like anything you can add to the game. There's no extra music, stuff like that. So with that in mind, keep trying, like, you know, I'm not going to tell you how much $50 is worth for you. To me, one of the main issues I have with this game is that I do not feel like it is a $50 value. But if you're into fighting games a lot and it seems like it's your thing, I think you should probably try it out at least. Maybe not try it out right away. Maybe wait for a sale, wait for some patches. But I definitely think this game is worth a shot. At the very least, you can watch it, see if you find a character you like. You know, I obviously stream it. There's tons of people playing it. This game will not die anytime soon, so you don't have to be afraid of that, I don't think. But we're gonna go straight into the options menus. Shout out to Total Biscuits, rest in peace. There's no dub. I don't mind this, but some people do. Sound settings, you can turn down voice volumes. Button config, keyboard settings, you can play it with keyboard, works fine. Now this is where the problem is. This is the PC version. Regardless if you put this game to 4K, you might notice that the game doesn't look any different. That is because this game is not locked to 1080. This game is locked to 720. 720 is the forced resolution for this game. Regardless of what console you're playing this on, regardless of what version, for whatever reason, this game is locked at 720p despite releasing in 2021. So text will be a little bit fuzzy. Background stages won't be very high quality. Why? I don't know why. It's not because it's pixel art. There's pixel art games that have this. Despite that, I think the game looks fine, but it's a really stupid thing to not let you upscale the game. I just want the game to look better and crisper. And right now it feels like I'm playing, because I'm playing on a pretty big monitor, 27-inch monitor, it feels like the game could look significantly sharper, and it just doesn't. I think 1080p minimum should have been standard, right? Game settings, nothing really interesting here. You can increase the netcode, and we're going to get to the netcode in a bit. But I really think it's stupid that this setting is here and not somewhere else. Right. So I think the first thing we can talk about is that a lot of people, this is release day, right? Or one day after release, when you're watching this probably. A ton of people have been having issues with the PC version, and almost everyone is buying this on PC. When I ask my chat, I would estimate that it's like 8-1, 9-1 of people, and the one being people buying it either on Switch, which I've heard also has a lot of issues, and PS4, which has some issues but doesn't seem to have as severe of issues. But then it's the player base that's kind of the problem. For a ton of people, if you go into network, the game just crashes if you click ranked. For me, I've had good luck with that. but occasionally I just won't be able to connect, stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of an issue. Hopefully they'll fix that. This game is also a very bad PC port in general. And this company, French Bread, they always had bad PC ports. They've released Melty Blood and Eunice before. And those games have, despite being out for like, I think almost 10 years now on PC, not fixed any of the core issues of the PC port. So unfortunately, I'm not sure if I can really say like, you can buy it now. They'll definitely fix it. I think there's a very high chance that this PC port will be bad till the end of time. For an example, I'm using display capture right now. If I click on my other monitor, the game closes down. You can mitigate this by, I mean, you can open it up again, right? But it takes a while. You can mitigate this by putting it on borderless or windowed. However, that is notoriously adding input lag and causing frame drops, especially for poorly optimized games. So you can try that if you're having issues. If you alt tab at the wrong time, it also crashes pretty frequently. I've had that happen maybe 5 times the first 2 days. So yeah, the PC port definitely not good. Feels like an afterthought, unfortunately. And it's a shame because that's where most people are going to be playing in the West. Single player, I have not played any single player. I hear that it's like very, very basic. It's like a standard arcade mode basically. Nothing to like write home about. You can watch battles versus CPUs. You can play versus CPUs versus players. You can watch replays. For some reason, you can't automatically save replays. So I have no replay saved. Most other fighting games let you do that. It's gallery. That is pretty limited, honestly. You can buy a couple art pieces there. And then there's training, tutorial, mission. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, is this game good for beginners? I would say this game is not a great first fighting game. I wouldn't say it's a terrible one, but I would not say that this is the game that you should be like, pick this game up if you're a new beginner. I think there's a lot better fighting games, like most recently Strive came out, Skullgirls, like Rivals. There's a lot better. Well, I guess Rivals is like not a traditional fighting game, but yeah. There's some tutorial, but it's more like a dictionary. It doesn't have too much, like it looks a lot, but most of these you go through in 2 seconds. Previous games by this developer had a lot more tutorials. There are missions, character specific missions here, so you can select a character. Here's the roster, by the way. I'll show them off to you. The roster being uninteresting has definitely been something a lot of people also complain about. It's very much your generic anime art style. Obviously this is the main character. This is the sister, which he the source material doesn't. Don't read the source material if you're creeped out. That's what I'm gonna say. Do not look into the source material if you're creeped out. If you're not used to the very disgusting Japanese shit. Got Saber from Fate Stay Night. Some people are mad she's here. Some people are happy she's here. I think it's pretty cool. The only problem is the Fate Saber already looks like this character, and this character has a clone version, an evil version, which looks pretty similar. But she has a longer skirt. There's 3 maid characters, so 3 out of 14 are maids. They play a little bit different. They play differently, not like super differently, but they play differently. And then there's like an asset flip, basically, where you can play both of them at the same time, and you lose one special, and you get one like tag team special, essentially. There's the nuns that look pretty similar, but they play pretty different. And there's the 3 guys in the middle, Chads. Koma, who's the grappler type. Got Roa, who is the sonar slash, like, he's like a bit of a hybrid, but like has some mid-range stuff, has some other shit. And then there's Vlov, who has a combat mechanic and is a like slow sonar. In general, this game, you can kind of describe most characters as they want to get in and they want to run their offense on the opponent and like kind of stick to them. Everyone plays a lot in the air. That's kind of the iconic thing about Melty, but everyone has a double jump and an air dash in the air, so you can double jump into the air, double jump, and then air dash as well. There's a lot of air options. You're not really supposed to stay grounded in this game, so it's very, very different from a game like Street Fighter. One thing though is that this game is much more about mechanics that are universal rather than individual mechanics. There's no like, you know, oh, Potemkin is super slow and he can't dash. No, like everyone has the same movement options kind of. Some people are a little bit faster, some people are a little bit slower, some people jump a little bit higher, but generally very, very like universal in terms of how the characters feel. There are different specials, definitely different game plans, but in general, they all kind of use slightly different tools to kind of achieve the same thing, if that makes sense. But there's a lot of nuance, of course, where you actually have, you know, your expression and your individuality is more in how you use the system mechanics as a whole, rather than which character you select, if that makes sense. So this is not a completely terrible thing. For example, I'm obviously a Melee player. Melee has less character variety than Ultimate, for example. Ultimate has, you know, like, oh, Steve, Joker, like every character has a meter, a combat mechanic. Whereas Melee is more about like, well, you have wave dashing, you have like all these intricate tools that you then use to play differently. And then there's also characters, of course. This game is closer to the Melee of those. There's not really any character with like completely batshit crazy shit. There's no combat mechanics, there's no hero RNG mechanics, stuff like that. So back to the trials. There are trials where you can learn how to do your specials, but I would not rely on this at all. Unfortunately, these trials are very bad. This is basically just showing you the specials, but there's already a command list for that. All of these combos from beginner to expert are, sorry, no, beginner to intermediate. They are all basically universal, so they're not unique for character. They're just very, very basic, basically teaching you how to do auto combos, which a weekend you're probably not going to be using anyway. And then these combos are also not very good. There's 7 to 8 trials per character, but generally I would not say that they really teach you anything really useful. I think you're gonna have to stick to YouTube or Twitter for that. But this game does play pretty easily, even if you're not super good in the beginning. There's a lot of mechanics that will help you get like some sort of game plan started without doing too much. Auto combos are in this game where you basically can press the same button 3 times and get some sort of variations. So, for example, I play this character, Akia, for now. I don't think I'll stick with her that long, but for now, it's a character I'm trying to learn the game with. It's a decent amount of training options. I wouldn't say it's a good training mode. I wouldn't say it's a bad training mode. It's squarely average, maybe a little bit below average so far. So, for example, you can do like A, and you can get this combo. It's almost 2,000 damage, and you still get like a knockdown. Then you can still only press 1 button, but get like a little bit more by adding a double jump. But I still only press like A, B, 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 B. And then you have like more character, like specific combos. Oops. Like, this is my bread and butter. You know, obviously I'm close to the corner, get better setup. All that stuff. I can spend meter more easily. But you can get pretty far just by doing auto combos. I think that's pretty cool. Now in terms of combos and how that feels, this game is more of a game of like, there are middle length combos, I would say. It's not like Street Fighter where you do like 2 hits a lot of the time. It's usually like 5 to 10 to 15 hits, but it's not like 30-40 seconds of combos. Which I think is pretty good. I think the combos can get a little bit stale in terms of how they end. They all kind of have a pretty similar formula so far, but I think that gonna be further explored as we evolve more, learn more about the game. But yeah, overall for the gameplay, I think I like most of it. Most people that I've talked to as well think the gameplay is fun. It's really fun having all the air options. You can like jump around a lot. you know, there's definitely like a lot of mechanics that you can use. Like you can chain, and then you can go backwards in the chains, called reverse beat, which is this series is pretty iconic for. There's 2 different meters. There's no heavy combat mechanics, but there is a very small one where if you lose the round, you get an extra meter. But overall, I would say that the gameplay is definitely 100% the strength of this game. Whether or not that will weigh up for some of the other issues that I personally and many others have, that's the real issue, I think, with trying to sell this game. I'm not sure if this game is good enough gameplay-wise yet, because learning a fighting game early is really hard, and having a good understanding of exactly how the game is going to be playing at a month from now, right now, is very hard. And the issue is that there are many other problems with the game as of now. I will say, if you think you will like this and you think you will, like the gameplay, absolutely give it a shot, right? You can always refund it within 2 hours on Steam. You can obviously watch people. If you think it's cool, you'll probably like it. If you played other fighting games and you're used to some of the bullshit around playing a fighting game, absolutely try it out. I'm not sure if this... I would also say that if you maybe you don't have a lot of money right now, maybe this is not the time to spend $50 on a game you're not sure will get fixed. So what are some of the issues? Well, before we move on, this game has really good music, but there's only like 15 tracks in the entire game, and you can't pick a stage and then pick a song. The song is tied to the stage, and there's only like 15 stages. But I would say in general, the music's really good. That's definitely a plus, but I wish there was more music, and I wish you could select music from the old game, stuff like that. It's definitely no strive with 100 plus tracks or whatever. And I know KOF is going to have that as well coming out next year. So what are the issues? So first off, right now, rank just does not work for most people. But as you might notice, there's no casual match. So there's only a ranked match, and it doesn't seem to be great. I don't have a lot of faith in that this ranked game will be hard to rage quit or cheat in. I don't think it's going to be particularly accurate. So far, I'm still gaining way more points when I win than when I lose. Maybe that will change at the highest rank. I think I'm at 1 rank below the highest, or 2 ranks below the highest right now. Ranking for me has been smooth, but it's been really bad for a lot of others, and it was really bad for me on PlayStation, but it's been good on PC. So this is another thing. Whenever you're watching this, probably wait if it's right when I release this video, but maybe later just check in. Is it still bad? How is it still doing? Or if you feel like you might be fine with training moding a week, then I think maybe it is okay to pick up the game right now. So there's only ranked so far. There is player match, but yeah, only having ranked I think is going to be an issue for a lot of people, because it's very hard to find purely casual matches. Now, if you're the type of player who can play online matches and then not really care about the result, I'm one of these players. I don't really care who I play, how I do online, because when I compete, it's online tournaments or offline majors, right? So I can play ranked online and be like, this is casual. I can just mess around. I can just have fun. Not really any pressure. But for a lot of people, I know this, and there's nothing wrong with this. They have ranked anxiety. They want to play a purely casual match with no stakes, rather than be continuously scored on how they do. And especially when picking up a new character or a new game, that's completely understandable. So there is a way to do this, which is called player match. But this so far has been very glitchy. People have said that if they don't have the right download region set on Steam, then you can't find people. Right now, I can find 2 open lobbies. One of the problems with the lobbies is that you can't write anything. There's only quick messages, so you can't write anything more. You can't write your Discord name. You can't if you find someone you like, you can't. Yeah, you can't do anything about that, which is a shame. If you find someone really into, or you playing matches with it. I don't know why I stated it like that. There's also only one setup, so if you're 8 people in a lobby, only 2 people can play at a time, which is terrible. Yeah, people have been having real issues finding matches, having it crash, stuff like that. Again, this might be fixed later, but it also might not, because fighting games are notorious for not fixing these things for a very long time. So yeah, it's not great so far. All the features outside of the gameplay, I would say, are lacking or outright bad. Oh shit, I'm ranked 30. Oh my god. But when I do get a good match, I have fun for sure. I'm gonna be playing this game offline. Probably drop a comment below when I play this game offline a bit more to see purely my view on the gameplay. There's one mechanic I really dislike so far, which is called shield. And how I would describe this mechanic is I'm having a great time playing this fighting game, moving, doing all this shit. And then suddenly someone comes up and asks me to play rock, paper, scissors. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of a tight fighting game match. Let me go. And then they're like, no, we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. And it's a rock, paper, scissors that's like, it feels like 2 out of 3 tie. So you're just like you just do that for like a long time, honestly. And it's kind of annoying. It really is a very, very, very powerful mechanic so far. I hope it will get nerfed or changed, or that we will find tech against it. But right now, it kind of feels like a little bit of a Mario Kart mechanic. I'm not gonna lie. But some people might not mind as much as I do. So definitely something to give a try on. Maybe watch the matches, see if you like it or not. As for the netcode, it is rollback netcode. But I'm sad to say that so far, talking to people, trying myself, the netcode has been very inconsistent. When I've gotten a good match, it's been good. Even playing some against people on East Coast. But even playing people close, I sometimes have very, very laggy matches. There's this glitch right now where if you start playing in the beginning of every match, so the first round is super laggy, especially if you skip the round start animations, which your opponent can skip for you. So if they want to make you lag, they can. Unfortunately, the netcode has not been good. Hopefully they'll fix it. I honestly don't have that much faith. The problem is generally that, like, the later the game goes, the less people will play a game just naturally. The player base will spread out. So the average ping is only going to increase from this point on. And so far, I have not had a great experience. And looking at other people, it seems like some people are having a great time. Some people are having a bad time. So it's like dice roll would be decent or pure pain, even on 3 or 4 bar only. Feels like SF5, who's notoriously bad, unless I'm playing a friend who lives in Sweden. At worst, it skips or repeats animations, almost unplayable. I only had one match, which is pretty iffy. It's been godlike for me, good for me. It's been mixed. Yeah, it seems like pretty much like SF5, where sometimes you get great matches and sometimes you get bad matches. Problem is, SF5's netcode pretty bad, and a lot of people have not been able to get a single match yet because the game just keeps crashing whenever we go online. We're gonna keep this not too long. Final thoughts. I think this game is good. I think if you're into fighting games, if you're into anime fighters, definitely give it a try. If you have $50 that you don't really give that much of a damn about. If you're in a tight spot, however, and that's completely understandable, if you feel like there's other stuff you have on your plate right now, playing some other game right now, maybe wait a little bit, see if it gets fixed, maybe catch it on the sale. Overall though, I'm still going to be playing this, so if you're interested, go on my Twitch, shit like that. And yeah, hopefully fighting game developers step their shit up, because I don't think this game is worth $50, unfortunately. And if it was 30, or if it was a little bit better, I would love to recommend this to everyone. But right now, I'm gonna have to tell you to be more cautious unless you're a big fighting game fan and you're really looking for something new to play. That's just my opinion though. Please drop your own opinions. What have your experiences been like? Are you gonna try this game out? And subscribe to YouTube, all that shit. Peace.